Does love exist? Good evening, or perhaps good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you're listening. Tonight, I want to talk about something that touches every single one of us, whether we admit it or not. Something that has filled poets with passion, philosophers with questions, and scientists with chemicals. I want to talk about love. And my question to you, to myself, to the very air we breathe, is simple, yet profound. Does love truly exist? It feels like a ridiculous question, doesn't it? Of course love exists. We see it in movies, we hear it in songs, we feel it in our own lives. But what is it? Is it a feeling? A choice? A chemical reaction? A grand illusion? Let's pull back the curtain, shall we? The philosopher's gaze, a spectrum of affection. For thousands of years, thinkers have wrestled with this beast. The ancient Greeks, ever so precise, didn't have just one word for love. They had many. And each one was a different facet of this incredible diamond. There was eros, not just sexual passion, but a fierce, often overwhelming desire, a longing for something beautiful, something ideal. It's the yearning for completion, for a missing piece of ourselves. Think of the sudden, dizzying rush of infatuation, the all-consuming fire that burns hot and fast. That's eros. And then there was philia, brotherly love, friendship, loyalty. The deep affection you feel for your friends, your comrades, your community. It's a love built on shared experiences, mutual respect, and companionship. This is the love that binds societies, that holds families together beyond blood. And agape, perhaps the most profound of all, unconditional love. Selfless, empathetic, universal. It's the love for humanity, for strangers even. The love that asks for nothing in return. The pure benevolence. Many Christian philosophers, like Augustine and Aquinas in the Middle Ages, elevated caritas, which is essentially agape, to the highest form of love, a divine love. A love for God and neighbor that transcends earthly desires. It's about giving, not taking. But the Greeks didn't stop there. There was storge, natural affection, like the bond between a parent and child. Ludus, playful, flirtatious love, the thrill of the chase. Pragma, practical, enduring love, built on commitment and shared goals, often seen in long-term marriages. And philetia, self-love, the healthy kind that allows us to love others, and the unhealthy kind that can become narcissism. These aren't just ancient words. They are echoes of experiences we still recognize today. They suggest love isn't a monolith, but a tapestry woven from many different threads. The scientist's lens, hormones, and hardwiring. But what if it's all just biology? What if love is nothing more than a trick of the brain, a chemical cocktail designed to perpetuate our species? The scientists, with their fMRI machines and petri dishes, have given us some compelling answers. When we fall in love, our brains light up like a Christmas tree. Dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, floods our reward pathways, giving us that intense euphoria, that addictive craving for the other person. It's why new love feels so exhilarating, so consuming. It's the same chemical that gets activated by drugs, by gambling, by anything that sparks pleasure and desire. Then there's oxytocin, often called the cuddle hormone or the bonding hormone, released during touch, intimacy, childbirth, and breastfeeding. It fosters attachment, trust, and connection. This is the glue that holds relationships together long after the initial dopamine rush fades, and vasopressin plays a role in long-term pair bonding. So when you feel that deep, comforting connection with someone, that sense of belonging, that's your biology at work, whispering, "This is good. This is safe." Evolutionary psychologists like Helen Fisher argue that love isn't some fluffy, romantic notion. It's a powerful, adaptive mechanism. It ensured our ancestors chose a mate, committed to them, and stayed together long enough to raise vulnerable offspring. Love, in this view, is a survival strategy, a brilliant biological trick to keep us reproducing. The dizzying passion, the jealous possessiveness, the deep attachment, it all serves a purpose. It's efficient, it's practical, it's cold if you strip away the poetry. The psychologist's couch. Attachment and connection. From a psychological standpoint, love is deeply intertwined with our earliest experiences. Attachment theory, pioneered by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, suggests that the way we bond with our primary caregivers as infants shapes our capacity for love and relationships throughout our lives. If you had consistent, responsive caregivers, you likely developed a secure attachment style. You feel comfortable with intimacy, you trust others, you're not afraid of being alone or being too close. But if your early experiences were inconsistent or neglectful, you might develop anxious attachment, constantly craving closeness but fearing abandonment, or avoidant attachment, where you push people away, fearing vulnerability and true intimacy. So, is love just a reflection of our early programming? Are we just replaying childhood scripts, seeking echoes of past connections, or desperately trying to fix past wounds? It certainly plays a part. Our history, our anxieties, our fears, they all weave their way into the fabric of our adult relationships. The cultural kaleidoscope, love's shifting face. But if love is purely biological, why does it manifest so differently across cultures, across centuries? Love, it turns out, is a deeply cultural construct. What one society deems romantic, another might find strange or even scandalous. In some cultures, particularly collectivist ones, familial love and duty often take precedence over individual romantic passion. Arranged marriages, for instance, aren't necessarily loveless. They're often built on pragmatic love, on respect, shared values, and the expectation that companionate love will grow over time. The concept of love at first sight might be a Western romantic ideal, while in other places, love is a slow burn, a quiet unfolding, a deliberate choice. Think of the elaborate courtship rituals in some traditions, the emphasis on family approval, the very specific ways affection is expressed or withheld. These aren't just whims. They reflect deeply held beliefs about what love is, what its purpose is, and how it should be pursued. Culture shapes our very language of love, the stories we tell ourselves about it, the expectations we carry into our relationships. Love's echoes, art, literature, and music. And what about the undeniable evidence staring us in the face? The very soul of human creativity. From the dawn of time, humans have been compelled to express love, to capture its ecstasy and its agony in every conceivable form. Look at art. From the tender embrace in Rembrandt's The Jewish Bride, to the swirling passion of Klimt's The Kiss, to the raw, visceral pain of lost love in Frida Kahlo's self-portraits. Artists across millennia have tried to freeze the ephemeral essence of love on canvas, in stone, in light. Literature is brimming with it, the enduring, complex passion of Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, the tragic, destructive obsession in Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, the agonizing, forbidden affair in Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. From the ancient Japanese tale of Genji's romances to the divine love stories of Radha and Krishna in Indian epics like the Ramayana, to the magical realism of enduring love in Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Love in the Time of Cholera. Love permeates every narrative. It's the fuel for countless stories because it reflects the deepest desires and fears of the human heart. And music? Music. It's the language of love itself. From the crooning ballads of Elvis Presley's Can't Help Falling in Love to the heartbroken blues of Etta James's At Last, to the empowering anthems of Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, to the intricate emotional landscapes of a Fleetwood Mac song. Every genre, every era finds its voice in love. Music doesn't just describe love, it evokes it. It makes you feel it in your bones, whether you've experienced it or not. These expressions aren't just random acts of beauty. They are collective testimonies, a grand human chorus singing about something undeniably real, something that moves us beyond logic or biology. The skeptic's shadow in illusion? But let's be fair. There are those who stand in the shadow, who ask, what if it's all a lie? What if love is nothing more than a convenient fiction? Arthur Schopenhauer, the pessimistic philosopher, saw love as a cunning trick of the will to live, an unconscious force driving us to reproduce, often leading to misery once its biological purpose was served. For him, romantic love was a delusion, a glorified form of lust. Others argue that love is a social construct fed to us by Hollywood and greeting card companies. It's a set of unrealistic expectations that lead to inevitable disappointment. We're taught to believe in a fairy tale that doesn't exist, leading us to chase an illusion instead of building something real and sustainable. Perhaps we romanticize ordinary feelings, inflating them into something grand and mythical when they're just basic needs for companionship or security. And what about the hard scientific truth? If it's just hormones and brain chemistry, aren't we just complex biochemical machines reacting to stimuli? Doesn't that strip away all the magic, all the meaning? If love is just dopamine, then is it any different than the pleasure of eating a good meal or winning the lottery? So, does love exist? We've journeyed through philosophy, peered into the brain, explored the depths of our psyche, traversed cultural landscapes, and lost ourselves in the beauty of art. We've heard the arguments for and against. So, where does that leave us? Perhaps the question isn't whether love exists, but how it exists. Is it a grand, singular, universally defined emotion? Probably not. It's too complex, too fluid, too deeply personal and culturally shaped for that. Is it just a chemical reaction? If it were, then the beauty of a sunset is just photons hitting your retina, and a symphony is just vibrations in the air. The scientific explanation of how something happens doesn't negate its existence or its profound impact on us. The chemicals are the mechanism, not the meaning. Is it just a social construct? While culture shapes how we express and understand love, the underlying human capacity for connection, for empathy, for attachment seems universal. We might express it differently, but the core drive to connect remains. Maybe love exists in the tension between these perspectives. It's the dance between our biology and our beliefs, between our ancient instincts and our modern interpretations. It's the feeling that transcends logic, the choice we make to be vulnerable, the bond that grows through shared laughter and tears. Love is the eros that pulls us into passionate connection. It's the philia that nurtures enduring friendships. It's the agape that calls us to compassion and service. It's the dopamine rush that makes us dizzy with infatuation, in the oxytocin embrace that provides comfort and security. It's the attachment style we bring from childhood and the conscious effort we make to overcome its limitations. It's the cultural narrative that guides our expectations and the personal experience that defies definition. It exists in the quiet moments, a hand held, a knowing glance, a shared silence. It exists in the grand gestures, a sacrifice made, a journey taken, a challenge faced together. It exists in the way we pick ourselves up after heartbreak, daring to love again. It exists in the enduring mystery of another person and the courage it takes to truly see them. So, to answer the question, yes, love exists. It exists not as a simple singular thing, but as a multifaceted, dynamic, evolving force. It is both a biological imperative and a conscious choice. It is a feeling that overwhelms us and a practice that sustains us. It is the most powerful story we tell ourselves and the most profound experience we can have. Perhaps the real question then is not whether love exists, but how will you choose to experience it, to understand it, and to embody it in your own life? See you in the next episode.